Greetings everyone, Joseph James with your nightly newsletter, brought to you by theschooloftrade.com. Today was July 6, 2009. Hope everyone had a restful and safe long holiday weekend. We're back to work though this morning, 2:45 a.m. in our live trade room, and before we go over the results of today's trade room, brought in about $390 for every 3 contracts traded today, guys. Went 4 for 4 in the market. We saw a little bit less conviction, not as much continuation to the trends or the moves that happened. So we took a lot of scratch trades, so a lot of first target scratches today. Of course, today being a Monday, our weekly total is 390. Brings our monthly total for July, now 2 trading days, 965. This is of course USD and for 3 contracts, so averaging about $500 a day. Now the term of the day is price pattern. What is a price pattern? Well, these are going to be predictable, recognizable. Right? A recognizable pattern such as a head and shoulders pattern or a shooting star or a doji. Now these, of course, price patterns can signal bullish or bearish sentiment. They can be a trend continuation or a trend reversal. That is, they can be a price pattern that supports the continuation of a current trend. Or it can be a price pattern such as a head and shoulders pattern that is a signal for a reversal of that current trend. The bottom line is price patterns are going to give us an overall market sentiment. They're going to give us almost the ability to read the minds of other traders. So by looking at price patterns, we can see what they're thinking, right? Read their minds, look at whether or not they're bearish or bullish or whether or not they're looking to continue the trend. When we use this price patterns for our entries, and we'll show you guys a couple of examples, for our trade management, we use price patterns for managing our trades, and we also use it for exiting our trades. Now it's important that we look at these specific price patterns around specific support and resistance levels. We also look for another term we've used here in the room is swing highs and swing lows. But swing highs and swing lows are something that we use every day in our live trade room. They're essential to our trading methodology, and they are as well a price pattern. And of course, above everything, guys, it's got to be easy. Simple and easy to use and simple and easy to see on your charts. Now in the trade room, we like to define, first of all, what the perfect price pattern looks like. In other words, if we can define what the perfect price pattern looks like, then it should be relatively easy then to filter out or purposely avoid patterns that don't look like the perfect price pattern. You'll see on the left here, we've defined what is the perfect price pattern. You'll see the trigger line is your yellow line. Of course, I want to see it nice and steep, sloped, that trigger line. Right? Don't want to see it flat. And it's ultimately, this is going to be the basic fundamentals of everything that we do in our trade room. And this is one great example of how we use price patterns. This price pattern specifically is a strong move up or down, of course. This is an up example. We have a quick pullback in this example, right? So if we're moving up, a quick pullback, or what we call a test of the trigger line. You can see how it gets right up there in the trigger line. And of course, our goal is to enter the market as close to that trigger line as possible. But come join us in the trade room. We'll go over all those rules for you. And then, of course, in this situation, price continues on a quick speed of the tape. So it continues on price action or on volume. So in recap, it's a strong move up, a quick test back to my trigger line, and then price will take off on continued volume, or we're going to see that speed of the tape continue to the upside. If you've been watching for these price patterns in today's market, we saw them set up, but they didn't have that last leg, that continuation on speed of tape. And that's really ultimately why we ended up with a lot of winning trades today, but not a lot of money in our account, because we really didn't see a lot of that continuation. So let's look at a couple examples now, moving to the right of your monitor here. Now, one of the key ingredients to being a successful long-term trader is to identify what the perfect pattern looks like and then be able to compare these price patterns throughout the day as they come in different shapes and forms and sizes, and be able to filter out which ones are going to work and which ones are not. Now here's some examples. Here's 3 very easy examples that we see in the room. And of course, these are not the only examples of what could be poor price patterns or not the perfect price pattern. And of course, the one here first to your right is going to be the stutter step pattern prior to that test of the trigger. Remember, I want to see a strong move up followed by a quick test of my trigger, not that stutter step price pattern. Of course, right above that, you've got your resistance level, so watch out for roadblocks. We want to make sure that these price patterns happen with a little bit of room before we run into any support and resistance. As you can see, price will get held up. And last but not least, in the lower right-hand corner, another no-no is to trade with a flat trigger line. So you can see how the basic fundamental perfect price pattern over on your left We'll take certain shapes and sizes throughout the day, and it's our job to obviously compare and contrast and decide which ones are the perfect setups and which ones are not. Come out and join us tomorrow morning in our trade room, and we'll go over all of these different price patterns we look for. We'll give it to you for free for 3 weeks to come out and give us a try. Now, I want to tell you guys the beginner's course is recommended for all free trial members. We're going to open it up every day at 2:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Trial members and lifetime members, come on and join us. We'll trade the European session at 3 a.m. into the U.S. morning session, which closes at 12 noon. We have 3 jobs: identify, adjust, and execute. And we're going to go over these every day like clockwork with you guys in our live trade room. The key is going to be discipline, patience, and focusing on, remember those price patterns, right? Identifying the perfect price pattern and waiting patiently to see that replicated over and over again. If you can learn to be disciplined and patient to wait for those perfect setups, you'll make a lot of money in this industry. And of course, our advanced course will help you on your way. Let's talk about some of the trades we took today. Now on the euro, like I said earlier, we didn't see a lot of continuation. So we saw a lot of this choppy back and forth. We saw moves set up. They looked very nice setting up, but they didn't go anywhere. So what happens in those situations, obviously, and one of the reasons why we manage our trades the way we do, is we take a very quick first profit target. So you'll see a lot of what we call scratch trades or singles. And for example, first trade of the day here, 3:30 this morning. This is a 2-step short at 31. This one got us a very quick 3 ticks of profit, moved our stop up to our entry point to lock in that profit and eliminate risk, and it bounced us out of this trade. So right off the bat, we had our first 3 ticks in our back pocket. Couldn't get any more out of it because it was chopping around pretty good. No continuation to the downside in this. Wasn't long thereafter, 48 minutes past the hour, we took a 2-step long. This was at 26 was our fill here. This one did a little bit better work for us here. Took profit at 3 and at 6. So total that up, there's 9 ticks. So we're making our move here. 12 ticks total now here on the euro so far. Now the next move here was a 2-step short at 4:07 this morning, 7 minutes past the hour. We avoided this one obviously because of the price action. It was one of those trades we would have loved to have grabbed, but it would have included a little bit more risk than we would have liked to have seen. Then last but not least, 7:07 this morning. This again, another one of those moves that we would have loved to have taken. We called it in the room. We were all waiting for price action. Didn't get any fill. No real speed of the tape there to get our entries. But as you can see, we're always on the right side of the market here, especially on the euro. All right, so this was a good move, a good market this morning to trade, but we didn't see any of that extension, that continuation. Now, what about crude oil? If you weren't trading crude oil this morning, guys, you really weren't seeing much movement. Got our day started off 9:42, 2 steps short. Now, there's another one of these no trade entries where we call the trade, we know what we want, we know where we're trying to get into, but we just don't see it line up. And of course, you've also got 9:46, 2-step long, another situation. Saw a beautiful pattern, but no price action. It wasn't until we actually got a chance to take one of these until it was 9:51 this morning. This is a 2-step short at 16 even, got us 3 ticks. Again, took our first target, stopped us out as it rattled against us to the upside. So we were getting into these trades, we were seeing these things set up on our charts, but most importantly, using our rules, it keeps us out of these low volume environments. And of course, we just barely missed this thing this morning. Once we have a little more volume here, that will speed things up a little bit. And of course, we finished off our morning with another very small winner here, 10.23 this morning. This is a 2-step long at 27. We took profit at 3 ticks, got scratched out on our entry. Now again, these are all going to be counter trend trades, so we're taking a very short, quick profit target to make sure that we lock up that profit. On a counter trend trade, on a day like today, it's the reason why we ended in the green. Now, of course, we didn't make as much money as we would have liked to have made today, but that's okay. These trades will eventually start continuing with their moves. They will start seeing a little bit more volume here, and these trades will, of course, instead of just taking out at 3 and then scratch, it'll be 3, 6, 15, or 20. Okay, so we will see those days come back here very soon. This is very temporary. Let's do a quick recap. We're going to open the room tomorrow at 2:45 a.m., so come out and join us. We'll trade 8 different markets. We'll have live calls with entries, targets, and stops. Plenty of opportunity to ask questions. You're going to see the market in a completely different way. We'll give you 3 weeks to come out and do it absolutely for free. And make sure you check out the beginner's course when you join as a trial. It's going to give you that foundation, that fundamental resource you need to get off on the right foot and give yourself a head start in our trade room. My name is Joseph James. I'm the developer of the James Wave method of trading. We know your time is valuable just like ours, and we thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you in the room tomorrow.